Hello.
How you doing? How you doing? How was the weekend?
How was the weekend? The weekend was good. What the heck did I do? I have no idea. It happened so fast.
Skiing? Snowboarding?
No, I didn't do any of that, man. We don't get much snow over here. Like it snows and then it all goes away.
But you're like an hour away, aren't you?
Yeah, an hour away, hour and a half away. See, I've got this problem that I don't drive anywhere ever.
Really?
Yeah, like we have one car in our family and my wife works from home, I work from home, and I just I'll just get on my bike and go somewhere or just I don't know. It's either I'm like gonna go nowhere or I'm gonna go far. That there's no like in between for me.
What was what took you out to Colorado again?
The mountains.
Which you can bike to?
I can just walk to them. That I can like I can see Pikes Peak out my window. I can walk there in 3 hours
Uh-huh.
and be halfway up the mountain. So it's right there. I don't need to go anywhere to get there. It's there.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. Oh, we did go on Saturday night to watch the Gemini meteor shower.
Okay.
So we went like 45 minutes west, just like over the Front Range, and laid out in a field in 20-degree temperatures, all bundled up in our military sleeping bags and our pads, and just watched the meteors. Probably saw like 100 of them.
Did you really?
We were out there for like 2 hours maybe, but they were just all the time. It was crazy.
Benji says he's waiting to get admitted.
Sorry, Benji.
That's so cool, man. I'm looking at this Pikes Peak on a map right now. So the closest you are, what is the closest big city you're to?
Colorado Springs.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, so if you are like looking on Google Map, just type directions from there to Front Range Barbecue. We live right behind it.
West Colorado Avenue?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Oh wow. So it's an hour drive to Pikes Peak. So I'm taking it you drove to Pikes Peak?
Well, it is an hour drive if you go like up to the top of the peak. So there's that 21-mile road that goes up to the top there.
Yeah.
Which, that's a slow road for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But all of the other Front Range mountains, like everything to the west of or the south of that, like Red Rock Open Space, Garden of the Gods, like Garden of the Gods is the most visited park in the country. That's not a national park. Yeah.
Really?
It's like it's a state park. It's free. You just drive through it. And that's 2 miles from my house.
Dude, it looks wild. Oh my gosh. How close are we for a squat up to this?
An hour and a half.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I know squat ups in Colorado, but I still don't know.
Yeah, so it's on the west side of Denver.
West side of Denver.
Yeah, what you'll want to go to is Estes Park. That'll be the spot to go to. Like that's beautiful. Different, but it's beautiful.
For like snowshoeing or something that time of year?
In March, there'll be snow for sure. You probably could snowshoe. You could probably just walk too. It'll probably be all packed down, and it could get snow. Who knows? But it's a national park up there, and it's beautiful. There's alpine lakes and caribou, or wapiti as they call them here, and not wapiti, not caribou, elk. I think they're elk.
Nice. I think I said this. My wife's sister lives there, and they have all the outdoor gear, skiing, freaking snowshoeing, all that stuff. So I got
everything.
I got to figure out if I can get an extra day or two to myself when I go out for sub 2, so I can do stuff like that or go skiing. Skiing without the kids. Selfishly, it sounds magical.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a totally different world. Skiing without kids is just like being 20 again, right?
I'm gonna take my daughter to ski school here probably within a month. We got some local hills here in Cincinnati. It's a good place to learn.
That's fun. I
Yeah,
like local hills.
yeah.
East Coast skiing is something special.
Do you ever go to like Seven Springs or Snowshoe?
No, because that's like Western Pennsylvania, right? Seven Springs.
Snowshoe's West Virginia, Pennsylvania.
What's-
Seven Springs is Pennsylvania. Yeah. So were you talking about like New York and stuff like that?
Oh no, I would just go to like the Poconos and like in that area. So
Really?
yeah, I mean, we have one. It's called what is it, Bear Creek? It's just like a little tiny mountain, barely even a mountain, most likely just a hill, mostly covered with ice and snow cones type of snow, and it was fun.
Nice. Cool.
All right, so Benji's here, right, Benji? Benji's here. Yes, I see him. He's here. All right, so a couple of things before we get started. I was curious to learn more about your experience with ballpoint mailers and kind of like and cost experience, what you're looking for out of your mailers, what you are getting that you like, what you're getting that you don't like, and what you wish you had. Because my goal is to help find that thing out there in the mailer world and integrations world. And I was doing some research, and I'm just curious. Like, Ballpoint has not a lot of information on it on their website. So, what's your experience with it? How's it been? What do you like? What do you dislike?
So last year, I'd say early 25, we did this like exploratory thing. Benji led the charge on that with Ballpoint. And Benji, do you remember there was another company that we were really close to using too, other than Ballpoint?
Yes, I actually forgot the name, sir.
Yeah, if you can look that up. So, so we came back to Ballpoint because that's, whatever, they do a good job of marketing and they stay in my inbox. And we never canceled them completely somehow. So I took a call with them. They were easy to work with. We spoke to a US based representative. I would say Benji can probably speak more to Ballpoint, and Benji and Drew can probably speak more to that, why we're using them. It might just be like we were in passing and I was like, go get mail going. We talked about Ballpoint, but I don't know if Benji and Drew ran them up against anybody else this time around. We did the first time and we had like price points and everything like that. I can tell you we paid for 6 months in advance, like $600 or $700 a month in mail. This mail is for the most part, not for the most part. Like once we get this side up and running with Hatch will have its own mailing going on, but this was paid for by Key Property Partners, this mail. But they, whatever, they've got like a party envelope. They use the hand robot that like fills in the recipient's address. Ours is stamped, I believe. And then they send us, and then it's a blue ink print mail merge message on the inside. It's not handwritten, but it kind of, for the discerning eye, I think for like a lot of the 60-year-old type, I think it'll slide by as a real letter. And then they will mail from wherever they're located at. I think they might be in Arizona. Does that sound right, Benji? Yeah, Arizona. They will mail from there, but for another option, so that you get like the local post office stamp. Like they will send you the entire batch, pre-printed, everything. It's ready to go, and then you take it to your own post office, and then you'll get the local stamp. So
That's cool.
That's some of what they do. But in terms of comparing them to anybody else. I don't know. I think we're somewhere between like 650 to $700 a month for 500 pieces of mail. Does that sound right, Benji?
Yes.
And every one of those will be the blue ink one. So it's not really like a postcard, then a this, then a that, then a this, then a that thing. It's not really like tiered in terms of like whatever. Because I know you can get postcards out for way cheaper than that. Maybe not way cheaper. Maybe way cheaper. I don't know.
But was it like $1, $1.25, $1.40 per piece or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
probably a little more than $1.25 because that comes up to $6.25. But then we had we pay $25 for them to ship the entire thing to us to then go drop in our own mail. So then that takes it to $6.50. Sign a contract with them for that. Auto renews if we don't let them know within 30 days before it expires. Yeah, I think like I think our sales team is we are not car salesmen. We are not like hardcore sales tactics. We're not like throw out generic messages. Like we try to have like a good relationship with a lot of our sellers for repeat business, continue to keep our reputation strong branding, strong marketing, is important. So I think that personal look is important to us on the mail side of things. And Ballpoint hit a lot of that. I know there are some companies out there that will literally, they will put a pen, like a robot pen will write the entire message, and that'll just go up exponentially in cost. So being somewhat cost conscious when we made the decision.
Got it. Okay. And then in terms of like, do you know when somebody visits, like on that letter, is there like a custom URL or QR code so that when they scan that thing and it's like, hey, John Smith, just scan this?
The first run that we're doing does not have it. All this has is Drew's dial pad number. So we do have the ability to manipulate every new message that goes out. Benji and Drew have that calendared so that all right, we're hitting the same batch again. What are we saying? What are we doing to the envelope? So what we did not get on this one is any kind of branding. This is just like, it looks like just a handwritten note from a person. It doesn't look like it's came from a company. And Drew and I went back and forth on that. Like, do we put, because this one was going out for my 1031 exchange to try to capture a few last minute like leads. But I think I'm just gonna pay Uncle Sam the money and then have some dry powder. By the time they hit people's mailbox, I'll have like 5 days left. I think I have like 9 days. I think it's supposed to be in. They're supposed to be in today or tomorrow. They'll probably hit the mailbox by this Friday.
Okay.
And then I'll have like a week. So I was just never really a huge fan of like trying to crunch in a 1031 exchange to buy a piece of property just to save money on taxes. Like I thoughtfully buy the real estate that we buy so that and I don't have many leads like that right now that are like, yes, I must have that.
Got it. Okay. So I hear that it's important to you to like not just be kind of like spammy maily, right? Like that's definitely a thing. So I'm going to keep that in mind. One of the things I found in the research of, I probably spent like 4 or 5 hours trying to like figure out how different mailers are integrating with Go High Level.
Mm-hmm.
And, every so often you got to take a deep dive back in to see if things have changed. And they kind of haven't. But one of the things that I think is really interesting is that there's a couple parts to this. So we can take your list and do kind of the merge that you were talking about, where it's got a dynamic field on it and it stamps in the contact's name, whatever it is. And we can also put other information into that letter as well. Address, whatever it is. We could do all sorts of things to make it more personalized. Also, we can have a QR code or a URL, probably just better to have a QR code so we can scan it. That will take that specific user to their own page. That's like, hey, John, we love your property at 123 Main Street.
Right.
And that'll be different for each individual person.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is when somebody scans that, you will get notified that they scanned it, that they've been. If you have their phone number, awesome, call them. If you don't, you could start building out a different series of messages that go out to them.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
So that, I think that's like the biggest one, because then you can say like, hey, this person, I've sent them 6 emails or 6 mails. They've literally scanned every one.
Right.
There is some sort of high intent here. How do I go find them?
Uh-huh.
Like, how do I get that person better? Because, maybe they haven't booked a call, they haven't done this, they haven't done that, but like they keep scanning. So at minimum, let's keep sending.
Yep.
So it helps with spending money where it counts. And
Mm-hmm.
you send 4 to one person, they never see it. Well, okay, maybe not. Not as high priority as somebody that's already scanned it 6 times.
Right. Sounds great. I love it. It sounds like an awesome use of money and like increasing just like your insight into what's working and what's not, and and we can do a good job on our team of like, once we find somebody or a property that's interested, like we know how to like lean into that, whether that's through LinkedIn stalking, Facebook stalking, whatever, find mutual acquaintances of some sort or the other, or the attorney that drafted the docs. Do you so my what brain is getting in the way right now? I don't know if it's a brain, but the limiting belief one is like this. Do you feel like I could see how that would crush in single family? Like I just could see how that would crush in single family. But do you have any experience with anybody like commercial land, multifamily that's used that as well? That could say, that like, oh yeah, it works here too.
I mean, it's going to work anywhere, right? Because like, think about you. If you got a mailer that wasn't personalized and was just generic, and like, if you got a mailer and you scanned it, and then the next time you got a mailer, it was like, it said something different that acknowledged you just a little bit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I saw you scan this thing last time.
Right.
Are you thinking about retiring? You thinking about your lifelong dream of living at the Florida Keys?
Right.
And being more personal, like you talked about.
Yep. And so is that okay? So like, what are the systems that do that? I'm taking the mail program you guys are using right now, and some of your other clients and customers does do that, right?
I was looking to see if Ballpoint does it. I couldn't find much information about their API. I don't remember. So like, a lot of people provide APIs, but the problem with APIs is their APIs.
What are APIs? I've heard of APIs, but I don't.
It's just a way to connect data, right? So like, Ballpoint has information. How do they send it to you? How do you send that information back to the other way? So similar to how you're sending them data with the contacts is going to be some sort of API that they already have built in. I'm looking. I don't actually see that they have a way to connect anything. I don't see. I just typed in ballpoint mailers API, and I don't see anything in Google.
Yeah, sir. I actually checked my email conversation. We had jumped in the call last time with Simply Noted. Other than
Simply noted.
that feature that William is referring to, the stats. Whenever you see, like, if ever you're going to scan the QR code, they have that
Mhm.
option for Simply Noted.
Okay.
And the other thing that I'm always looking for is how easily is it integrated with GHL, like so that nobody's in like 6 different systems. And the company that I have found to be the most helpful, I can't say that they're the best, they do everything, but they are the actual printer.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see this?
Yep.
Okay, hold on. Something I did something weird there. Let me try something different. And like, I don't care what you guys use. I just wanted to open the conversation because, again, this is about making your life easier, making sure that you have enough time in your life to spend with your family, and not having to pay Uncle Sam. This is weird. Google's done something silly to me. So this is PCM Integrations, a Postcard Mania company, so you guys can check them out. And they actually directly integrate with GHL. So right here is their direct mail. It's just an iframe, so like this part isn't like super duper fancy. It looks cool, it's easy to get to. But you can see all of their postcards, documents, letters, snap aparts, which are like the check type of things. And you can go through all that here. But what I find to be like the most helpful part is when we go into the automations, we can build automations around the mailers. So we have these different triggers, which is mail tracking. So where is it? Did they receive it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Has it arrived? Which will say like, okay, if this mail has arrived, when do we send the next one? Then we know exactly. Send it 4 weeks from now, send it 4 months from now. So the cadence is spelled out. You guys don't have to do anything there.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's the QR code scan. When they scan the QR code, that's the trigger. What do we do?
Yep.
So, I mean, we can do anything inside GHL, but then PCM has send a letter, send a postcard, send a snap apart. And that can be anything. We move them from new lead to whatever in an opportunity. And that's kind of the triggers they have. Limited on triggers, but I don't know how many triggers and actions we would actually need. I think it's more beneficial for this in terms of, in the end, how much money did you spend on mailers and who converted? And
Agree with that.
Who are you putting your team to work on? Who's most important?
Did I see that it's only like a penny to put a QR code on there? Is that right?
So that is a GHL trigger cost. So these are premium triggers here. So this cost a penny for the trigger.
Got it. Okay, tracking.
So that's within GHL. I don't remember the exact pricing, but I think it's like for postcards, there's no minimum on these things either. There's no monthly. It's just, whatever it is you send out, you send out. Volume discounts available, obviously. I think it was like $1.25 if you just are sending like the minimum per postcard, something like that. So we can talk more about that if you guys would like. I know you're kind of with Ballpoint right now. I just wanted to put this out there because that was part of our Miro board was mailers.
No, I mean, I would say that, you know, I would say as a team, we know very little about it and don't have a lot of great case studies. I was doing mail when I first got into the business, doing like essentially my version of driving for dollars. I'd go find stuff and then I'd pay somebody in our office to go write them all by hand.
Nice.
And actually I feel like it was a pretty good price that we were doing that at. But I don't know how you would replicate that again in real world. And I think like the same way like Benji and Drew are creating like a, what do you call it? What do you guys call in your calendar, Benji? Your marketing calendar? What is it? Your prospecting calendar? Yeah, lead generation calendar. Like it's got, you know, like this week we're cold calling them. This week we're sending a follow-up text, an email, et cetera. And then it just flows throughout the entire year. So, like I'm all on board for this. And if for some reason this this mail option doesn't provide like one of the things that we would want, like say 1 to 3 times a year, we want to send to that list of 500 properties, we want to send like real handwritten mail, like from, like I'll go hire, there used to be a girl named Jordan and pay her, it's like, it used to be like 50 cents for a completed piece of mail. I'm sure that price has gone up. And she would hand address, hand write,
Wow.
stamp it, send it.
That's crushing it.
But I would, you know, we would still have the cost of the stamp and the letters and everything. But the labor piece was about that, I'm pretty sure. It's mindless work. You do it in front of your favorite TV show, right?
Right. Yeah.
So what are, and then like what would you say would be a typical sequence for mail? And I think we talked, where's my Miro board? Here it is. We talked about like different ways of reaching people and potentially leaning in towards paid ads and SMS. Is that right? Paid ads, SMS, SEO, and like a business listing.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what did we say we thought was very expensive? Maybe it was the paid ad.
Yeah, the paid ads is going to be like the most expensive thing, which is, it's also going to be like the least direct, and it's going to take a ton of testing, and it's just, it can be very frustrating for sure.
So yeah, so if we're leaning in at the beginning to mail, getting a fully functional website and, you know, the business listings as being our initial horses, like what do you think on the mail side would be like a sequence that you've seen that's worked? Like I guess I would be referring to like the type of mail that goes out and the frequency.
Type of mail, I mean, really, I think it's the message, right? Like, how can you make that thing personalized for someone, like you said, and kind of like do it at scale? But you're sending like more direct things, so the lead is like, it's probably not going to be like sell your commercial real estate for cash, right? Like that thing probably not going to work out too well.
Yep.
Maybe I'm wrong. I think it's probably going to be like, if I was to sell to you my commercial property that I've been holding for 20 or 30 years, it would have to be like a story, I think would work really well. And like Seinfeld sequence, something that is in like the marketing world. And you think about like a Seinfeld episode, each episode is kind of contained. And then at the end, it all gets put together, and it's like a mailer or a newsletter, but it's informational and it's a story. And just telling a story or bringing that person on the other end that's holding this thing for 20 years of like, hey, you were probably much younger when you bought this thing and it brought you all this great joy. You're thinking about selling it and like walking them through the different things to look at. Like giving your experience and your personal journey on commercial multifamily and like weaving some pain points in. And then they're like, wow, this feels like personal thing that somebody sent to me, and like, yeah, they're right, like I am here right now, I did really enjoy this thing, but I'm not enjoying it anymore. And then they read that, they're like, awesome, maybe they scan it, maybe they don't. And then the next one kind of continues to build upon that story of their pain and their, you know, their ups and their downs with this thing. And eventually they're like, you know what, I'm just going to call this person. Adam seems like he knows what he's talking about. He gets me. He buys multifamily because, you know, you kind of weave in your story in there too as you go through. So they're getting to know you. And then by the time they get on the call with you, they're like, Adam, I know everything about you. Here's my property. That's just my 2 cents. Oh, you're muted.
There we go. Sorry, I've got somebody in an office next to me. Did we ever talk about Seinfeld before?
No, should we though?
Oh yeah, dude, I'm a huge Seinfeld fan. Are you a Seinfeld fan?
I watched Seinfeld for the first time like in its completion a few years ago. Like we just sat down and we're like, let's crush all Seinfeld, because I'd seen like bits and pieces of it. But yeah, dude, Seinfeld is great.
I just saw him in person in Cincinnati. We bought these tickets like 5 months ago. I got I don't really ever do nice things, but this one I was like, we're getting as close as we can get. We got third row.
Sweet.
If he ever comes to Colorado, drop what you're doing, because he's 71, dude. You don't know how much longer he's going to be around, and he's still really sharp, like so sharp. Like, oh
Amazing.
my God, my face and my stomach hurt so hard from laughing. My wife's too. Anyway, so I get the point about the Seinfeld story, and like I immediately start thinking about like the different sizes of multifamilies, and people are, you know, like me, I've got some like randomness. Like I own some 4 families, a 7 unit, an 18. So like I'm a little scattered, but I think what you tend to find is a lot of people that just like, all right, I know 4 families. This is what I buy. Boom, 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 boom. So that story is a little different, and I could think about the pain points that come with that. Those are probably more mom and pop people that are managing themselves, so they've got a little more pain. And then people that own larger properties, maybe like medium-sized properties, they hired a property manager, but they never built out their own management. There's some pain there. And then there's the bigger people, which I don't connect with great yet, but you know, that's like 50 unit and up. They likely have built out their own property management in-house, and that'll come with its own headaches as well, because they probably have more employees and more people that rely on them and whatnot. So yeah, that sounds spot on.
Cool. So I'm just going to make a note there, kind of like I'll just write Seinfeld sequence, and we can kind of talk about what that looks like at some point for the mailers. So you guys are in 6 months now with the mailing company, with Ballpoint?
Yeah. And I think, you know, I love the pace that we're doing this at. You know, the faster we can knock this out, the more, you know, the quicker that I can get Hatch's mail going. And then the hope is that the bulk of that 6 months is going to be spent on key property partners. And a lot of it will be, you know, and like key property partners are a little different. Like postcards work really great because we can say like, 2025 was a great year. Here's everything we sold. And then if we want to market specifically to a certain neighborhood, we can say, here's all the properties we sold within a 5-mile radius of your property. And then we just a postcard that's been good. And we've gotten deals from that in the past. I actually don't think Ballpoint does postcards. I think they're mostly, I don't know, Benji, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if they do postcards. No, they do. They do have postcards. That's a little cheaper. So the greeting letters, it's wild. Like they're greeting letters in an envelope with the stamped thing and the handwritten front address. They do such a good job of like marketing what it is if you spend $5,000 a month with them, because then they're like, oh, you can get it down to 85 cents a letter. if you do that, which is very cheap. And I think again we're $1.20, $1.25. But then that's for so 85 cents. But then if you go to a postcard, it's 80 cents, which is interesting to me. But they've got like a picture on the front, holiday stuff. I don't know what you would do for real estate. But then on the back, they do have the option to do this printed, like the stamped blue ink that looks like it's handwritten.
Yeah.
So, but just the envelope alone, I would have thought in my head would have made that a larger spread, but it's not. So we might be able to tackle. I think Benji's hooked us up in the past where he's done some postcards through an affiliate that's
KW
like,
Command.
yeah, with KW Command, and they do postcards. So we might do postcards through them and regular mail through Ballpoint for the remainder of that 6-month period for KPP, as long as we can get Hatch up and going as soon as possible. And Benji, it might be worth something to ask Ballpoint, like, hey, can you guys put a URL or a code in there to scan?
Yeah.
And maybe we can figure out a way to start doing that on the KPP side. But I'd rather, once Hatch gets going, we just have our horse and run it for 6 months. I don't want to start it with Ballpoint and then go to something else.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so let's see. What do we got here on Miro? I'm zooming out. We've got Bird Dog Buy Box, Hatch Investments, that whole side. And then we've got kind of these different pipelines, underwriting, cold callers, SMS. Where do you think we should start? Like, what's the easiest way for you to make $1 with Hatch Investments?
Like, easiest way, but not the quickest way, is mailing to 2 to 4 family properties, maybe like 2 to 8 unit properties, because there's so many of them. We used to track this stat. And Benji, special project, it would be nice for us as a team to know that, like, how many 2 to 4 families are in Cincinnati, how many 5 to 10 units, whatever, like all the different codes, the use codes that they have in the auditor. It'd be nice to have that. Back to your question, Bill, like, there's just so many of those 2 to like 8 unit properties. And it's like, it's the barrier to entry. It's like, you know, a lot of people that just get started in real estate, they start flipping or they start wholesaling, and they're doing that with single families a lot, right? And then, you know, and there's mistakes made there as investors and wholesalers and as owner occupants, and that's why there's so many more of them, right? That's why so many people focus on it, because there's just so many foreclosures. And then the next step up, I would say, would be like 2 to 4, 2 to 8 unit properties. So that's like a nice like segment to market to, because it's the mom and pop people who are just like, they inherited something, they bought a couple, they manage them themselves, or they just got into it. Although we don't market to people that just got into it. Anyways, that's the failure rate is a little bit higher, or the just like, I'm stuck, I can't figure this out, I'm going back to my W-2 thing. So I think you'd have a higher response rate there that would potentially turn into more flip, like buy and hold or buy and flip opportunities. So quick to get them on the phone. But I think it would ultimately lead to having to buy them, take them down, fix them up, and then refinance them, or then sell them. So that part of it's not quick, but I think we like we have room within our that side of our organization to do 2 to 4, maybe 2 to 5 at a time. If they all dropped on our lap at one time, like, that would be very tough. I'm trying to think, like, what would we do if like all of a sudden more leads kept coming in and we had like 2 to 5 flips going on? Then we'd have to start spinning them off, I think. Or I just need to think bigger and figure out how to raise more money and take more down and grow out construction. But so I think quick to get people on the phone is that target. And as I'm looking at the 4 different ways that we that we built out the portfolio side, that's slow. It's like, we talked about, like, if the team takes down something that goes in the portfolio, then Hatch needs to receive the equivalent of like a wholesale fee or a commission. Double closes, I just don't have much to go on. I've done 2 in 10 years, so I don't know there really. I've never wholesaled a deal. We've double closed 2. I'm not trying to build this thing out to be a wholesaler.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the outside of the box. Is that
Different markets,
and also could be like Drew's been cold calling this guy on this multifamily for these 2 8-unit buildings, or it's like a 20-unit. I don't know what it is, but eventually he's like, dude, I'm not selling. The guy's like, I'm not selling that one, but I got this self-storage place that we need to sell. He's like, do you guys want to buy that? And enough of those come up. Like, I'm really trying to stay in my lane. I would just find a referral partner and go refer that out. So I think, tell me if I'm not answering it right, or if there's a key like answer that I'm not thinking about.
No, I think this is good, because the whole idea is for Hatch to make money. Like, that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
The actual goal is to build a portfolio. But like, in order for Hatch to sustain itself, it needs to make dollars.
Hatch needs to, be profitable, be able to carry its own budget comfortably. What I've done for years is this, the commingling and key property partners activities have funded other ventures of mine, and this needs to be built out so that it is self-sufficient.
So 2 to 8 units, I got some questions on that. But if I'm looking at these white cards over to the right, underwriting, cold callers, SMS, email, all that stuff. The mailers, yes, I think that is like an easy inbound lead situation. Does require money to spend money to get those mailers out. Also, just positioning yourself in sub 2 as a buyer. Like, we talked about this before, like defining the buy box and getting that underwriting and like that system down really well. It works. There's 17,000 people in that group. Like, there's plenty of people that are crushing it just by working with Bird Dog.
Yeah.
And when people are like, they type in multifamily in Cincinnati, like, you need to be the dude that comes up in that Facebook search inside sub 2.
Yep.
And give them a way to send you the deal. Easy.
Mm-hmm.
And like, build out that system. So I think those are probably the easiest to implement today. Then like Google business listing, yeah, definitely, like, that's a little side project that goes down. And local SEO, that's just getting the website up and starting working out from there. But if you were like, hey, what are we going to do first? I would say mailers, and then get your underwriting and your buy box legit, and start who does your posting in Facebook, in the private, like in your personal account? Is that you?
Benji does a decent amount of it on like when we're posting deals that we've just sold. And
on your personal account, like on Adam Curry's account? Okay.
Yeah, well, Benji, take us through that.
Yeah. So what do you want to know?
I guess, what's your process for posting to social media? Because I made a post today, and that was directly from me because that was a more personal story. But I guess when you're going out to the market and posting in all the forums or for key property partners and sharing, like, what all does that look like?
Yeah,
Is that
so
from his personal page or is that from business pages?
both. So
Okay.
I do posting, especially when we have new listings under contract and sold properties. I post in Instagram, both personal and business. Same with Facebook and LinkedIn for both personal and business also.
Okay. That's good to know. So you're doing the posting personal. The thing that I would like to see is on Adam's personal page, go into the sub two group and the creative finance page, like the Pace Morby creative finance page, making more posts about your buy box, what you're doing, what you're looking for, just like day to day in the life of Adam Curry. And like what does that look like so people can start seeing you as a person. And the main goal again is and if you think about Facebook, that group, it is a giant searchable database, and that's how people use it. They type in the search function inside the group, Cincinnati, you need to come up. So you have to constantly be talking about Cincinnati multifamily and things that you're doing in that area, sharing stories, not being guru like, but just being yourself and sharing your story and how and what you do, so that again, people can send you deals, they can talk to you that are local. And it may be slow, but you'll start getting people reaching out, submitting deals to you out of the blue, and you're like, wow, that was nice.
Yeah, that's been on my list. I bet it's somewhere here. Honestly, I don't see it right now, but it was like the other day. I was like, man, it would have been so nice at the beginning of December to make a post every day, just talking about multifamily, just talking like, here's what happened with our property. We're refinancing this deal, and we just got the worst appraisal ever, and here's how we're trying to combat it, and here are the next steps we're coming up with. Because I think what Benji does, this is also important information, like almost all of what Benji does is key property partners related. So that's taking me out into the world, and a lot of times to sub two as like, oh, this guy brokers multifamily deals. And I'd say my activity on social media is more heavily leaning towards the broker side. Don't know if I have an exact reason of why that is, but you definitely have plenty of examples of tons of people in sub two that are just like, I'm an investor. And part of the reason of Drew getting moved into the sales manager role is so that I can come over into the investment seat, and I need to unlock like a 10-year callus that I've had in my brain and my day-to-day functions of like, I push broker deals, and now I say like I push investment deals. Not concerning you, but something I need to be thinking about is like, there is always the concern that like for 10 years, we just finished our 12th year actually. So for 10 years, it was me and various other salespeople. And I would say Cincinnati knows us as like a small to medium-sized multifamily sales team. The people that know us a little closer know that I do invest, but not the broad market. The broad market does not know me as an investor. So when I come out of the gates here shortly, and this is a concern of mine, and start talking all investment, and this might be fine in the sub two group and the creative group, and it never becomes an issue in there. If I start posting like publicly to the mass audience of whatever follower group number of followers I have, does like me starting to say like, if I shift like that heavily weighted that's towards sale, but then I change it to the investment side, does that put the sales team in a quandary? Everybody's like, well, wait, I got to sell my property, but Adam's an investor. Do I tell both stories, or?
I think you tell all your stories. Like, you are a multifaceted person. You are not this one thing.
Right.
People don't do business with you because you're a broker. They do business with you because you're Adam Curry. They met you because you're a broker, but they keep coming back because you're a wonderful person.
Right.
Show them, show the world. Like,
Yep.
here's what I do. People are just, they love social media, right? Give the
Right.
people what they want.
Yep.
Show them stuff. Like, I like that post about your car sliding into the road in the middle of the night.
Dude,
Like, I saw
scary,
that
man.
this morning. I was like, wow, that's terrifying. At least it didn't go down a hill or crash
Uh-huh.
into that red truck behind it.
Right. Right.
And those things are what is going to create people. Like, the more you post about you, the more people engage. You got 33 comments and 118 likes or whatever they are, whatever the things they are. Now you're going to start showing up more and more in those people's feeds. And if you can get the people who are seeing you to be more Cincinnati based,
Yep.
who are they going to go to? Well,
Yep.
they're going to go to Adam because they've been watching his whole journey from his sliding car to the time he spends with his kids now, because
Right.
he's been more focused on that.
Right.
And then you can talk about brokerages and DSCRs and like talk about all the things, because you're doing so much every day. And it's like, it feels hard. I know for me, like, it feels hard to figure out what to say on social media.
Yep.
But like, all it takes is 3 seconds of like, oh, this stupid thing just happened. Let me just go make a post about it.
Right. No doubt. I agree. I like it. I like it. So do you think, like, I mean, I agree, 17,000 people in the main group, and then who knows how many people are in the free group. Do you waste time in the free group? Or do you see
I do
people?
not.
Really?
I don't go there. There's too much riffraff for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I see that too, and we'll get messages from there, and it always leads down a path to nowhere.
Yeah,
and even in a paid group, it still does sometimes.
It does, absolutely. One thing that I've been doing is I have a Tuesday night it's Google Meet, where it's just reoccurring every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. And it's just like, we just talk about real estate and go high level stuff and like some other random things, but it's becoming like my tribe of people.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, like, it's always on everybody's calendar and random folks can just come jump in and talk. And that has been helping me position myself as somebody that talks about go high level and real estate and just like becoming that person. So when people are searching, they know.
Cool. Okay. I like it.
But coming back, like, how do we turn that into dollars? Well, we need your buy box for sure. We need to define that. We need to make it really nice and clear in writing, but like really a picture. Like, I know Pace was really adamant there for a minute on a picture of your buy box is worth 1,000 words. And I think following that really makes sense, of like just a clear picture so that people can see it, and then they can read more about like specifics of what that buy box is. And then a way for them to reach out to you. And inside the sub 2 group, dropping a link, you can't drop a link in the actual post because it will always get taken down. Putting it in the comments usually gets it to stay.
Mm-hmm.
But what I find is that most people will just send you a message directly. Yep. And as soon as they send a message, it's like, I just send them to my calendar, or it's like, hey, here's how you submit that deal. And then we can, because that way we're bringing them into go high level.
So Benji created, can you see this?
I can.
Yeah, Benji created that a while back. This is pretty close. But I feel like through, so I don't know if we actually went into this. Maybe we did, and I'll try to be quick. So we did the Arkansas deal. We closed it. Mm-hmm. We got some cool press pace. We did me and the guy from Sub 2 did a like a 15-minute call with Pace, and he talked through the deal and asked us a bunch of questions. And then like from that, and actually prior to that, I was asking Pace, I was like, hey, we're going to close this deal. I would love to spend some money like effectively. What do you think? He's like, I think you should go find a bunch of bird dogs within the community. Well, didn't have a ton of like great structure behind that. And then I started posting, said, hey, we want to do this. We got 30 people. Did I tell this whole story?
I don't think so. I heard I've heard the Pace part, but not the bird dog part.
Yeah. So Benji and I found a way to like post and say, hey, we're trying to find bird dogs, finding multifamily deals within a 4-hour driving radius of Cincinnati, Ohio. 30 people raised their hand. Pace called this perfectly. He's like, a bunch of people are going to raise their hand, show up. 10 people will sign up, and then 2 people will produce. And that's exactly what happened. At the beginning, we had like 10 people. Had this rock star girl, Erica Palika. I wasn't ready for her. She was too strong for me at the time of my disorganization. I'm like, she was great. But now we have 2 people that are still with us. The other people just like stopped showing up, and I was like, Benji, kick them out of the Google Meet. So like we have a weekly meeting, and this is the buy box that I would give them. And like through this, I have found out more things that Benji, we need to add into this, where it's like, Benji, 2 things that we need to add to this buy box are that we will look at no deals that are on market for less than 90 days. And it would also say we prefer off market directly to seller deals. So all these people that were hustling at the beginning, which then fizzled out, like they were just going to find a 4-hour driving radius, and they were going to Crexy and then sending me deals that I easily had access to. Like I've only bought off market deals for a decade.
Love it. Yep.
So I was and still some days feel drowned by like reviewing properties that are trash, and it's like, why am I looking at this deal? I'm going to go send an insulting offer because you want 5 million, but it's worth like on actuals, it's worth like 3 million. I'll give you your 5 million, give me 0% interest for like a decade with a balloon type thing. So that's it. But we could definitely tighten that up. Would love to hear any feedback that you would see like off the cuff on that you would change.
So I like the bullet points. I would get rid of your face and like that whole side. It's no one cares what you look like when they're searching for this or like they're scrolling through the social feed, because that's how I'm looking at this.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to see like pictures, right? And I would get rid of like the multifamily buy box little logo up there. I'd get rid of Hatch Investments. I'd probably get rid of your phone number, and I'd probably get rid of most of that stuff. Like maybe keep your name, maybe, and really just focus on, if you're scrolling, how can you say like show through a picture that this is Cincinnati, Ohio?
Uh-huh. Okay.
Like how can somebody see like, oh, here is the circle within Cincinnati, Ohio? Because like if we look at, I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Let's see. So if we look at,
sorry, are you? Is that your screen or is that mine? That's you. Okay.
It's mine. Did I share the wrong? What am I doing here? Google changed things.
I know. I thought that too.
Like it's not sharing my screen correctly. I don't know what's happening.
I noticed that same thing today.
Okay, good. Glad I'm not going crazy here. All right. So I would think something along the lines of like this picture right here. Like I can tell this is Cincinnati. Just it's obvious, right? Google spent how many billions of dollars getting people to understand that this is what Cincinnati looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost worth like figuring out like is Interstate 275, that's probably not 4 hours, right? That's probably like an hour radius.
Not even like 30 minutes.
Okay. So what is 4 hours? Like is Indianapolis too far?
No, that's an hour and a half. Like keep scrolling out. It's basically like Cleveland. Once you pull in Cleveland, and that's everything. So I would say like we could do a better job, because I can tell you there's a lot of places that I would not touch within these. And And honestly, it's like we know Cincinnati, Ohio. I recognize we're also this time flu. We're already over. Wow, it's crazy. So let me know when you need to go. But like all these sub markets, like we would love Fort Wayne, Indianapolis, Columbus, Dayton. We have enough contacts in Akron and Cleveland where we could refer stuff out. Louisville, Lexington. We would go as far as like parts of Tennessee. So like, think of like Cincinnati as like a tier. I think Cincinnati is like a tier 2 city. Maybe like if A and A plus is like New York City and LA, then and Chicago, then like Cincinnati's like maybe like a B, like it's a big city, but it's not that big. So, and at the same time, like I have 4 LOIs out to like rural areas with like 5,000 people living in them. So
Love it.
You don't, and those are great opportunities.
My favorite.
But we know the size of a city of Cincinnati. So, the 4-hour, long story short, takes you, if you could pull that thing, it would go all the way to Cleveland roughly. That would also probably pull in lots of parts of Kentucky and West Virginia and a little bit of Tennessee.
Okay, so I think, Ben, that if that's the case, 4 hours of driving of Cincinnati means nothing to everyone. So I think it's like build a buy box for Cincinnati.
Yep.
Post that buy box. Like literally say like we want to draw a circle or like around if you guys are within 275, like whatever it is, draw your circle around the area and then post that picture with like your terms right below it.
Yep.
Of whatever it was. And like, that's it. No name, just like DM me if you have a deal. And then same thing for Columbus and Dayton. And now you're separating your buy box because that way it's searchable. Because again, if somebody's searching, they have a deal in Dayton and you just say 4 hours of Cincinnati, they will not find you.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
So you'll have, I don't know, 15 different buy boxes, whatever it is, for that 4 hour radius.
Yep.
So I would say that would be best, is probably just use a screenshot, right? Use a screenshot and then draw a circle, whatever it is. However you want to make it easy for people to see what it is, where it is you're located. So that way they could be like, oh yeah, my house is inside that thing.
Benji, you can do that, right?
Yes, I guess so.
Yep.
All right, so we're just going to call this Bird Dog buy box. I'm going to put a little task, create individual buy boxes for 4 hours of Cincinnati. That's not how you spell it. Good. Okay. And also this relates to websites and SEO as well, because you guys are based in Cincinnati, and maybe it's like Cincinnati multifamilybuyers.com is the website, whatever it is. You can also have /Dayton. So now you can start breaking it up. So when people search Dayton, Ohio, we can get you guys to show up there at some point once the content's deep enough.
Okay, cool.
So think about things in smaller chunks so that people can find you when they have the thing that you're looking for. And mostly people search by location. And that'll also come down to your buyers' buy boxes and how we build those too. Because we're not going to build your buyers' buy boxes for like what states and include Alaska and Pennsylvania, right? Because you don't do that.
Yep.
We'll just have, Cincinnati and then maybe whatever specific things that they want in Cincinnati or Dayton. We can narrow down those buy boxes for those individual people within your 4 hours. So when you have something that's in Indianapolis, we don't send it to somebody who only buys in Cincinnati.
Yep. That maybe like maybe something to put a pin in to talk about the next time too. It's like I'm always like, we've had some deals we've tried to wholesale, and I was like, man, I'm shocked we couldn't move that. Like, we have a buyers list that we've been adding to for years and years and years, and on that list, like 20 to 30 of them are really strong buyers, but I don't have, like, you see some of these wholesalers move product, and I'm like, are they all putting it on investor lift? Like, how are they moving some of this stuff? Like, are they buying a huge list? I don't know.
I think I'd prefer better buyers than a huge list.
Yeah.
All right. We do have time scheduled for tomorrow, right?
Yep. We're on for two tomorrow. I think
Yes.
we were trying to nail something down for Thursday, which
What'd you want to do on Thursday? I left that one blank because it was too difficult to put that on right now.
I'm good for 12. I think it was 10:30 your time, 12:30 my time.
Yes, that's what it was. Because I have a meeting from 9:30 to 10:20 my time. So you want to do 10:30 my time?
Yep, that works.
All right.
And then if I can be really, really difficult, is there a way to do I want to learn how to use all this stuff.
Are you still seeing my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So this search function does a lot. You could go into like contacts and search, but I find that it's quicker if you're like in some random place to just come here and hit search.
Mm-hmm.
Then get some recents.
Yeah.
Then over here are your appointments. And then Thursday. So you could select, we could have a bunch of different calendars on here.
Yep.
I just keep one, basically. It's just my calendar that I use for everything. I used to have more, but I was like, oh, I'm going to have one for like these type of calls and those type of calls, but it was too much. It's just not worth it.
Yep.
So we're going to do a custom field because on my calendar, that's like, I have things blocked out, but I can overwrite them with custom. Default is like only open times on my calendar, like real open times. But I know that I have 10:30 on Thursday, and then we do 10, 30, and we make sure it's the AM because I always miss that step. And then that's the hour. And then over here, it says what time it is for you. So you don't have to do those weird conversions in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to add Benji key property. Why is this not coming up? What's your email, Benji?
Benji@keypropertypartners.com.
Key, is there a dash or something in here? Key property. Do I have yours? I must have. Huh. I'll add you in a second. I don't know why that's not working. Weird. All right, we'll make sure that's good. We'll book it. Benji, can you drop your email in the chat real quick? I don't know why it's not here. Let's try here. Key Do I not have it in here? Where'd it go? There it is. I need to clean my computer out. All right, so we're going to add a contact and email. That's weird, Benji. I thought we had you in here. So I verified the email just to make sure that it exists, that I didn't copy or you guys didn't copy or paste it wrong. Then we'll go back into appointments. And that's, what is that day? What's Thursday? The 18th. Go back in and add a new contact. There we go. Save it. Okay. You said you wanted to be difficult. Tell me more.
Oh yeah, Friday. Do you have by chance, like, I guess, what's your earliest time slot? What are the time slots? I've had a recurring like noon to 2 meeting on Fridays for and I just didn't add it, so I missed it. If we could do like 10:30 to 11:30 my time, but that's like 8:30 your time. That's early, I recognize. Or maybe 2:30, which would be 12:30 your time.
So Friday, you said you wanted to do it in the morning, right?
Yeah, I mean, morning would be great.
Yeah.
If I'm
let's do it.
Okay, cool. What
Let's do it.
I like basically if I'm just done by 11:30 my time, then that's great. But that's like 9:30 your time. Is 8:30 too early?
No, that's good. Great. So let's see, 8:30 a.m. So that's the 19th. Should have changed on your calendar already.
Got it.
Cool. Awesome. All right, I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll keep rolling.
Sweet, brother. You're the man. Thank you.
You're welcome. See you.
All right, bye.